Salutations, everybody! My name is Sorrel Cocha Espina, your new favorite science and nature VTuber. Today, for our first episode of Strolling with Sorrel, name possibly up for change, we'll be hiking in Castle Rock State Park in the Santa Cruz Mountains of California. I hope you all really enjoy spending time with me and enjoy exploring all the wonderful flora and fauna we'll find. It's going to be really fun, and anyway, let's begin. So right now I'm actually out in a mixed oak and redwood woodland, although this one actually appears to be more of a Doug fir forest. Hey guys! This very much was not a redwood forest. In fact, it turned out to be an entirely mixed Douglas fir forest, so scratch that. No redwoods at all. Except for one dead one that I found, but that didn't count. So yeah, no redwoods. So let's do a little bit of a talk on where we are exactly. What type of habitat is this? So looking around, a cursory thing. First thing I notice, couple of tan oak trees, Notholithocarpus. Right here. And you can see tan oak right here. It's got these large leaves, the fuzzy underside, a kind of toothed edge. And these tan oaks, they're not actually a species of oak, though they are somewhat related to oaks. We've got a couple of young true oaks. These ones are actually appear to be perhaps a interior live oak or some sort of a scrub oak growing in here. And then we've got some various understory plants. For example, right here we got what is the name of this? It's a honeysuckle. We've got some honeysuckle here, mixed in with a bit of chestnut? No. It is kind of really nerve-wracking trying to just come up with things on the fly as you're walking around in the forest. I can't remember the names of all these plants. By the way, that's a hazelnut. But oh my gosh, was that stressful. Okay, back to the video. Mixed in with some hazelnut bushes. You can see quite a few hazelnuts, although it's not quite hazelnut season. And that's just kind of a fun thing. Then we got larger tan oaks and a big old Douglas fir tree right here. And you can see there's another really big Douglas fir. There's another really big Douglas fir right there and another Doug fir. Surprisingly, no redwoods. And there's a dead tan oak over there. Another dead tan oak. These tan oaks just kind of tend to just... You can see this is kind of a characteristic of the tan oak tree. Almost every single one you'll find is in some sort of a state of disease or decay. They're all dying because of sudden oak death. And they'll just kind of snap somewhere in the middle when they have that disease because it weakens their structural integrity. Here's a nice plant right here. We got a sword fern. You can tell it's a sword fern because it's got a little notch on each of these leaflets that kind of looks like the hilt of a sword. Here's a really cool old Douglas fir that had fallen in the past. Now here's kind of a fun thing we can look at. Since it's like this, we actually might be able to count the rings, or at least some of the rings. Perhaps it will be easier from this side. Yeah, let's see how old this big tree is. I mean, that thing is huge. You can probably imagine. You'd think it'd be pretty old, but let's find out. Alright, starting year. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Look how thick these rings are. This guy was a fast grower. 23, 24, 25, 26. Looks like we're starting to get into a bit of a drought period right here. 29, 30, 31, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60. It's starting to white out again. Good year. 61, 62, 63, 64. Another drought. 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71. Really bad drought right here. 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 82, 83, 45, 86. Ooh, then we get into the worst of the droughts. 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100, 101, 102, 103, 104, 105, 106, 107, 108, 109, 110. It's really hard to tell. 11, 112, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Gets really blurry. I got tree bark in my mouth. 121, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 30, 31, 32, 33, 35, 36, 37, 38, 140. So let's just call this roughly like 148. You can't quite tell this one. Roughly 150 years old. So quite a big boy. But surprisingly, in the realm of a Douglas fir, I mean, these trees can live well over 1,000 years, or up to 1,000 years. He's not actually that big or that old. Kind of cool stuff. Here's a living Doug fir right next to it. There's a lot of Douglas firs. Here's another one that's fallen over. So you can kind of see... Ooh, here's a nice little thing. So as we continue down the trail, we're starting to get into more of a riparian creek zone, and you'll notice some of the understory plants are starting to change. We're getting things like nettle. Here's a ceanothus, like I was talking about. Now, hold on just a second. I don't think I ever said anything about ceanothus plants yet. But that's okay, because I have... Ta-da! iNaturalist, which is public domain, so it's okay to use. So, the ceanothus that we were just looking at in the picture, I believe, if I keyed it out correctly, there's over 60 different species of ceanothus plants growing in California, so it's a little tricky to tell them apart. But I believe this one is Ceanothus interigemius, or deerbrush ceanothus. And I'm basing that mostly off of the leaf shape and size, and knowing that this is one of the more common species that grow within the county. So, a little bit about this plant. Blooms between April and July. Makes sense. Got the white flowers. So, this is the species of woody shrub, Rhamnaceae, which is also the same family as coffeeberry, I believe. I might be wrong on that. Grows in montane chaparral woodlands. In this area, it was actually more of a coastal chaparral. Deciduous shrub, 1 to 4 meters tall. Open ascending to erect branch habitats, drought tolerant, nitrogen fixating, which is really nice. That means it makes its own nitrogen with the help of fungus and bacteria that grow around it, which helps the rest of the environment. Blah, 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 blah. They are a fire-following species, or at least a species that prefers intermittent dispersal. They don't live very long. Their lifespan is roughly like 20-something years. So you'll notice that they are more common in areas that have a bit more dispersal. For example, if you go to a place where a fire recently burned, you'll see a ton of ceanothus growing there. This ceanothus was probably growing in that particular spot because maybe a bird dropped seed there at one point, and because it's next to a trail, people are always kicking up dusts. Intermittent disposal. Anyways, back to hiking. About curly dock, other types of dock, which is a more water species. Wood mint, more nettle. Ooh, some little baby elderberry trees. Oh, that's gonna be lovely. Look at them all. I love elderberries. Creeping vetch. This is just an invasive plant. We don't really like it. What are you? Oh, poison oak. Scientific name. Diversilobum. I forget it off the top of my head. Either way, a lot of Toxidendron diversilobum. My head. Either way, a lot of people hate poison oak. People are afraid of it. They're like, oh, it's going to make me itchy. It's going to make me feel sick. Oh, no. But the berries are actually incredibly valuable for birds, wildlife, bees. I mean, look, there was a bug on this one that I was about to show you guys, but he just flew away. But yeah, these are surprisingly important for the ecosystem. You can tell we're really getting close to the creek now because we're getting horsetails. So horsetails are actually one of the oldest species of plants in existence. Their fossil record goes all the way to the Triassic period. Some biologists that believe that the horsetail may have actually been the first vascular plant. So they say thank you to your ancestors. Not my ancestor, but someone's ancestor. Probably another horsetail since they're still around. Here's the creek. And I believe this comes from a beautiful little spring, Travertine Springs. Walking along. Here's a little friend right here. This is a plant you actually don't want to see. This is poison hemlock, an invasive species, comes from Europe, a species of carrot. You can tell the top looks very similar to a carrot. There's actually a species of wild carrot around here called Queen Anne's lace. Every year there's a couple of poor suckers who come over, see this, think, oh, this is Queen Anne's lace. They'll pick it, eat it, and die or get very sick. One way you can kind of tell, it even smells like a carrot, but one way you can tell this apart is look at these red splotches. There's a little story my old botany teacher told me, which was these red blotches are the blood of Socrates. Since Socrates was murdered or executed by the Athenian government, forced to eat a concoction of tea made out of poison hemlock. Forget-me-nots, always a beautiful little flower. A spittlebug. Wild strawberries. What are you? Hemlock flowers. You can tell they look kind of pretty, so it'd be very easy to mistake them with something like a carrot. Toxidendron. That's the name of the poison oak. Toxidendron diversilobum. I don't know why I couldn't remember that earlier. Whew. That's a pretty big... You're not a hemlock. Getting all confused. I'm like, what's this hemlock doing with these weird leaves? There's a big leaf maple mixed in here. Try not to touch these too much. I am technically in a state park. I'm not allowed to pick the plants, even though I do wish I could. Another ceanothus starting to bloom. Another very important pollinator species. You can see the maples are really doing well this year. We had a very heavy rain last year, and I'm certain the maples are appreciating it. Here's a fun plant. I don't know its scientific name, but its colloquial name is tall sock destroyer. Because after these dry out, these stupid little seed pods will get all sticky and they start sticking all your clothes and they ruin them. Sanicle. Christmas berry, also called toyon. Wonderful native plant. In the wintertime, it grows these really beautiful bunches of red berries. They're toxic to eat. They have cyanide, but supposedly if you boil them, it makes a delicious cider that people used to eat a long time ago. I tried to do it once, but my mother screamed and was like, "Don't you dare eat that. You're going to kill everyone in the house." And she made me throw it outside. But maybe someday I'll try it again. Ah, what a beautiful madrone right here. Arbutus menziesii, the Pacific madrone, related to the ever-popular strawberry tree. This is the wild equivalent of the Spanish strawberry tree, which you'll probably have seen before in a parking lot. I think this guy looks so much prettier. Almost like something you'd find in like a jungle in like Africa or Australia, with this brilliant red colored bark that strips off. Supposedly this bark makes a nice tea. A friend of mine told me that if you actually take the leaves too, boil them into a tea and then soak yourself in it, it helps relieve the symptoms of poison oak. I tried it when I had some poison oak. I don't know if I felt any better or not. Maybe I didn't try it soon enough. Another Doug fir fell over. I'm telling you, it's just the Doug firs. It's a Doug fir issue. Man, look at where he broke from, too. Snapped on the body. Rest in peace, buddy. Here's a lovely little plant that I always get excited to see. Notice it. Long, leggy, trailing plant. Rubbing its leaves, a very strong, minty smell. This is yerba buena, Spanish for good herb, because it's believed to be a very good herb. Supposedly, it heals everything, and it tastes really good on food and tea. The Spanish love it. It's good for bug bites. Same thing as like a, Vicks Vapor Rub or something. You just, smells so good. Clears your sinuses right up. Rub it on your skin. You'll be so numb you'll never feel another itch again. I love this stuff. I don't know why, but I just felt the need to emphasize here. Yes, the Spanish loved it, and I like to bring that up because it's part of my heritage. But you know who else loved these plants? The Kotadi, the Mutsun, the Kiroste, the Aptos, and the other various Awaswa-speaking peoples collectively referred to as Ohlone today loved them, and they stewarded these plants long before anyone else showed up. Itch again. I love this stuff. I actually grow it at home. California bay leaf. Just like the bay leaves you find in the grocery store, except wild and slightly sick and covered in bird poop. The California bay tree, although it's a wonderful native and valuable plant, and you can eat the nuts, similar to like coffee, and make a coffee out of it, it is a carrier for sudden oak death. It doesn't kill that tree, but it will pass it on to all the oaks around it, so we do have to be careful about our bay trees. Another big old Doug fir. Here's a plant that I really like. Tarweed. Oftentimes overlooked as just sort of a little weird dandelion-y weed. These things are actually super valuable for the ecosystem. They're one of the best summer pollinators. Mason bees, leafcutter bees, and a lot of flies use them as a source of food during the summer and late spring. I'm not sure if that's poison oak or if that's ocean breeze. There's another plant, Pacific ocean breeze, I believe, that looks a lot like poison oak, but it won't make you itchy. Ocean spray, Holodiscus discolor, and after looking at it online, I'm pretty sure that was just poison oak. Oh well. I believe that looks a lot like poison oak, but it won't make you itchy. It's hard to tell. It's getting kind of hot out. The remains of an old slope failure, landslide. You can kind of see the scarp right here. Must have washed out. God, they fixed the road since then. Looks like it probably went all the way across. Actually, I know it went all the way across because I had to hike this before they fixed it. Took them 2 years to fix that stupid spot right there. The sketchiest thing ever trying to walk across it. Trail erosion. They probably cut that in there on purpose. Drain the water. Baby Douglas fir. Some beautiful bay trees, providing very, very excellent and valuable shade. More Doug fir. You can kind of notice. So the CZU fire came through this area a few years ago. Although this specific location did not burn. And you can easily tell that, for one, because there's no burn marks. But two, look at how much wood fuel is here. This place is a giant tinderbox waiting to go. Once again, insert long rant here about historic fire regimes burning this area every 10 years in a low impact level that would have prevented any major fires from ever occurring here in the future. Cough, cough, cough. Poor land management strategies ever since 1849 when the gold rush people came here and killed everyone. Jungle grass, which is actually rush, which is not a grass, it's a rush. Well, story my botanist teacher taught me. Want to learn your grasses? Sedges have edges. Rushes are round. We just walk past the rushes. And grasses have nodes. Node. 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 All the way to the ground. And that's how you can tell the three apart. The only problem with that is that this isn't a sedge. That's an iris. That's a grass. And I didn't have a rush because they're over there and I'm too tired to walk. We'll find one later. Here's a rush. Big time rush, no, I'm kidding. See? Perfectly round. No notches, no marks, goes straight to the top. And then, yeah, those are not sedges again. We'll find a sedge someday. They kind of look like a grass, but they are like in little triangle-shaped bodies. Okay. Thought that might have been a mushroom for a second. I was gonna ask if we knew the mushroom man. I should be careful, that has other colloquial terms. I like the word colloquial today. Uh-oh. Area closed, do not enter. Alright, let's stop right here for a second. Alright, so there's quite a lot more hiking to go, but then I kind of realized that I'm running out of video time. It's almost 25 minutes, and that's quite a long video to make for one short little thing. So we're going to stop right here and pick up on a part 2 that I'll make later on. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed it so far. Let me know in the comments and such, anything you can think I can do to improve, any suggestions or stuff like that. And bye for now. Bye, everybody.